What's up, guys? What's up, guys? Today we are Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter chapters came out. This 2026. Togashi came out as hiatus. I This is news to me on Instagram Reels. I just saw memes about like cover art, like suitor art on each. Bro, I'm hyped, bro. I catched up to this like last year. Yeah, last year, like ending of last year, like November of last year, and I'm hyped that I get to see. I don't know how, like, this came out what, the end of June, I believe. Is there more? There's gotta be more coming out. But yeah, I'm hyped. Let's read this, bro. All right. The fourth prince's funeral session is scheduled to depart the Ministry of Justice at 1 p.m. and arrive at the funeral hall on Tier 1 before 2 p.m. However, in consideration of the succession war, his will dictates that a send-off by the princes is unnecessary. Day 12, Thursday, 8 a.m., inside the Ministry of Justice. Once the 41st Prince's private army is disbanded and the procedures for their reassignment to Tier 2 and below are complete, I will return there. Good work, well done, yes sir. The time is before the issuance of the special martial law. How is the 11th Prince doing? She's fast asleep. It's to be expected. She needs to rest quietly until she recovers enough to wake up naturally. Could it be that I'm making Fuchan use up extra energy? You absolutely must not worry about that. You are absolutely essential to Fujitsu. Without you, she wouldn't survive. Whether the fourth prince's death was a suicide or an assassination by the first prince, the funeral will likely be held grandly and solemnly so as not to provoke public backlash. We will just wait and see until the ninth prince's funeral concludes without a hitch. In the meantime, let's get our own preparations perfectly in order. What the? Who this? I don't know who this guy is. Um, Clearly they're a skinwalker. This is some Johan shit right here. This is some Johan territory right here. Whoa. What in the world? Okay. My, you disguise yourself quite skillfully. Grandma, you're getting senile, so forgetful. This is my original self. Well, my persona as the captain of the guards is just an external mask. Ho ho ho, do you even know the meaning of original? By the way, the situation has changed significantly with the death of the ninth prince, but we are still executing the plan as scheduled, correct? Yes. Finding a Nen exorcist is essential, so I definitely want to smoke them out as early as possible. Well, it would be best if there isn't one, but working under the assumption that there is, we'll have to drastically alter our approach depending on the type of Nen exorcist they have. The curse of the 14th prince, how many days do you estimate it will take to accumulate? If our rooms are separate and I can't see them, it'll probably take a full week even if we're in the same area. If we're lucky and they lower their guard, letting me out close enough to touch them, I'll wring their neck and kill them on spot. If it comes to that, please make sure Kako is my successor. Well, I'm off then. Second training session, current participants 18. Based on the results of the previous session, since there were several people who wished to continue taking the course and level up, um, we hastily increased the capacity and decided to split it into an introductory class and a beginner class. However, um, these niggas still training. Yeah, all these you guys ain't done shit. You're under the hands of Karapika. He's training y'all. Well, teaching y'all Nen. For the introductory class, a 2 week training course will put you in a state where you can use Nen. I promise this unchanged from last time. Which of us is going to the introductory class? Oh yeah, you don't have to put it up a tough front, you know. That'll be you. I think it's probably by the prince's arrangement. No, seriously, you should be the one to do it. For the beginner class, one per week, I promise to have you master the basics of the four major principles. Furthermore, for the princes whose intentions and interests align with ours, I will permit an increase of one person per prince, limited strictly to the introductory class. I want you to confirm by phone whether or not they wish to add one more person. The beginner class course has been extended to 1 month, but of course you are free to quit halfway through. The basics of the four major principles in 1 month, that's an impossibly fast pace for normal training. But if he uses an attack, it's not a completely impossible number. If the stalemate in the succession war continues for another month, the second time attendees here will become fully fledged NEN users. Even from a military standpoint, they will no longer be ordinary humans. The aim of increasing the number of recruits is, in addition to balancing military power, to disperse and reduce the number of guards and other princes living in quarters, thereby steering the entire succession war towards a mere defense-orientated strategy. Um, Barry Son, yeah, 13 Friends Guard, 100 Association member, Burlington. During the previous lecture, a murder happened here, right? The culprit hasn't been found yet. Will it be okay this time? Well, to be honest, I don't know, but I don't think you'll be targeted. However, if you spot a girl wearing a mask, let me know right away. Don't you feel like our skin condition has gotten really good? Also, my stiff shoulders are completely gone. 11 Prince attendant, radio second lecture. I know, right? We're tired, but it feels like power is welling up even more than that. 11 Prince attendant, radio second lecture. The sixth queen. There's too many characters in this arc, bro, and like the hiatuses do not help this. Like I was thinking like I want it'd be cool to have like a friend, someone to talk to that like it's like catch the I guess like I bro like who is caught up like with everything of this arc, like everything, like this is crazy. Who's caught up, like who knows all the details, all the yeah, like who's really like locked in and paying attention to this like arc that's been on hiatus for forever. We just need to do exactly what we need told to do. Temperance and a Yuri second lecture. Bringing another person who is also a guard means that an ability is just powerful, right? Indeed. The Seven Prince intends to wait and see until the trouble between the mafias is settled. We should look at the grace period as a golden opportunity. My soldiers belonging to the second queen, we will be reorganized at the words no matter which prince becomes the king, Seven Prince Guard. In case whether or not we have mastered this ability will greatly influence our future assignments and prospects. True. Also, I thought being able to make contact with the second prince private army here would be a massive advantage. Wait, that's a maid, right? Hmm. Might just be a standard call assistance agent. The 40 Prince is in the master bedroom. Distance-wise, it's closer than I thought. It seems I can also get my hands on something the prince has used. With 5 days, I can execute the plan. Second Prince Private Army Captain Sarhill. And an increase in personnel, combined with the joint hiding declaration with the fifth prince, is a defensive strategy meant to create chaos in a complicated situation. Third prince is private soldier. It is not a good idea to reduce the cipher room personnel any further. Prince. After all, we can invite the 14th Prince party to a meal as much as want after the session ends. Well, however, we must do it in a way so that the first prince's side does receive reports that we are very good friends. I was waiting for that reply though. Man, I can't see like Hunter x Hunter anime ever coming back, Like, will that ever I'll be like 50 like when this arc ends and it's animated. It ended and there's an anime adaptation to at least like the season or something. Man, this like this is like it's also like where's anime headed in years? Like, or is the slop gonna like Hollywood's been dying, superhero movies have been dying. Anime though, like where's that going? Like, is it gonna, like I don't. But based off right now, like anime is not going anywhere. Anime is like thriving. It always has been. That shit thriving, bro. If it ultimately comes down to the use of force, that's the role of the lower ranks. Anyway, there is no need to share this special ability any further with my rivals in promotion race. Even though I am in a state ready to use then abilities, I am practically powerless in front of the first prince's private soldiers. In that case, I have no choice but to build my strength here while appealing to the first prince's side regarding strengthening our coordination with the third prince. I see it then as executed. As expected, please leave this to us. There is also the option of having Sakata, who is currently here, take the course. The first prince's private soldiers must have also noticed that the fifth prince's guardian spirit beast has revealed itself. Um, that will act as a deterrent, and the first prince's faction will likely restrain themselves for a while and observe the guardian spirit beast's behavior. In the meantime, I will invite Kurapika and we will train together as long as the prince is being targeted. I cannot afford to be picky about the means. Fifth Prince, Private Army Captain Mel are attending second session. Well then, we will begin the lessons with 9 people in the introductory class and 9 people in the beginner class. Please split into 2 groups. Um, well, being here is much better than being worked to the bone by the sixth queen. Then Prince Attendant Lizuela. I'm anxious, but if I can be of even a little help to the sixth queen, right? Let's do our best. If we can really gain superhuman powers, we'll definitely be able to serve the 11th Prince better than we do now. I'll be able to fight too. I'm scared. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go back to my room right now. Um, Quietly focusing solely on acquiring end abilities is it? That's right. Make sure absolutely you refrain from acting of your own. Strategic standby is the most safest and most certain path to improving our squad standing. Stop messing around. What are you saying? It's not for the squad, it's for yourself, isn't it? Princes are dying one after another, and the target is a baby. It'll be done in seconds. What kind of idiot would pass up this perfect opportunity? If I succeed, I'm guaranteeing a promotion. If the Charmer is among them, the attacks the four princes' private army again. Is there a slim chance the four prince would sue us and appear in court himself? Now that those in introductory class, please clasp your hands together freely. I will now distribute black paper to those in the beginner class. The ninth prince is dead. The prince I first attempted to contact in order to establish a connection with the fourth prince. In the end, we still don't even know where the secret behind the ability that caused that tremendous rumbling. Oh, there's no way. It's a simple death from illness. It must be an assassination. The timing right before the trial with the first prince is obvious, but there there probably wouldn't be any evidence. I'm reluctant, but by using the truth behind the ninth prince's death as I speak, we must also keep the option of inciting the public and taking advantage of the chaos on the table. He served as a deterrent to the upper princes and was also the hope of the lower princes. Just by having his private soldiers present in this room, an atmosphere with an extinct mix of tension and security was created. Now that it's gone, even at the risk of some danger, I wanted to increase complex uncertainties for the upper princes side, but as expected, there are no princes trying to allocate any more personnel to the Judicial Bureau, I suppose. A keeper assigned to the first tier to replace Buxton. Is there anything noteworthy from the handover with Muhan? Don't die. If both of you are killed here, the prince won't stay quiet, and it could become a matter of my responsibility. Especially when the matter of the souvenir finally got brushed under the rug. Excuse me, can I say something? I'm Slanka, a soldier belonging to the second queen. I'll join the introductory class too. Their prince bodyguard Slaka. What is the guy suddenly blabbling about? We don't mind, but belonging to the second queen, meaning he's close to the second prince. No, he's a bodyguard for the third prince. If I'm just gonna stand around here days, it's way more beneficial to learn an ability. The third, a bodyguard who serves as a supervisor to a lower prince leaving his post to come here. That's normally impossible, right? Is he sticking around to gain something important? If they intend to leave us out of the loop, we'll have to reconsider the treaty itself. Idiot. You're just giving them unnecessary information. You're just giving them unnecessary information. Are you trying to ruin the friendly relationship we went out of our way to build? That bastard. Knowing full well and doing it on purpose. Taking advantage of my silence during the previous lecture, sneaking around behind my back and making under the table deals. If you have no intention of handing over the information regarding none that could influence the succession contest of yours truly, I have absolutely no desire to play along with your little friendship game. Good grief. As some of you may already notice, the reason is being demonstrated here due to certain special circumstances. It is to learn the crucial information regarding Nen that could even influence the succession contest. Since this is a good opportunity, I shall announce it right here, right now. Wait a minute. If you talk about that here and now, even though we might be been able to advance the succession war to our advantage with that information, is that what you mean? Actually, unfortunately, it's not that kind of information. It seems the expression influenced the outcome of the succession war caused a misunderstanding. I apologize. I'm very sorry for phrasing it in a way that could be taken to mean only the prince who obtained the information would benefit. No, 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 wait. How else are we supposed to take it? I will explain that now. Right now on the ship, the succession war to decide the next king of Kakin is in progress. An insane situation where the sole survivor inherits the throne. First, a fundamental question arises regarding that. Why go that far? Needless to say, the grand cause lies in the prosperity of the nation. A king to lead over 1 billion citizens when it comes to the state affairs ritual that decide such a thing, even as a motivation or mission, it serves as ample justification just to go that far. Furthermore, NAND abilities have continuously brought success to the outcomes of these state affairs, that is where the root of it lies. By utilizing NAND abilities and maximizing the capabilities outcome through values and limitations, it can further solidify the leadership of the next king who survives this fierce competition, making national prosperity rock solid. That is how powerfully NAND can operate. Whoa. This is like a Tartarian civilization. You got what is this like dragons and dragons, stars, moon worship. What is all this? It's gotta, or it's like the meme, like the cinema, like that. But what are Rao's limitations? The principle by which one gains remarkably higher efficiency and power by taking on stricter resolve and a greater risk. The act of sacrificing the lives of one's own bloodline to narrow the successors down to just a single person carries immense resolve and even brings the risk of complete clan extinction. However, up to this point, this is a strictly the resolve of a ritual that decided to conduct the succession war. The resolve of enshrinement and also what the hell is that word? The Matsuri and Matsugoto, is that like a language? What are you even saying now? Affairs of state has four meanings, and Kakin has utilized this in their Nen-based succession war. Prayer to God, offering to God, praying for national. Okay, praying to God, praying for national prosperity and establishing a vow. Offering to God, offering the lives of blood and relatives as proof of resolve. Com- comforting souls and spirits, gathering those who died during the Session War into two locations to form an aura field. Unity of government and ritual politics by the ritualists governing the affairs of state using the immense power gathered through the ceremony. The process of advancing the succession war, the restrictions, risks that arise during the ceremony. If these are not established, the then required to maintain the power of the guardian spirit beasts, the leadership necessary for government, that is, what makes one fit to lead the masses as king, cannot be generated. That very restriction is crucial information fully capable of swaying the outcome of the succession war. Voyage to the new continent takes 2 months, since 12 days have already passed. What remains is about a month and a half. Since the ceremony is scheduled immediately after landing, where the current king will officially announce the prince who will become the next king, there is no doubt that the deadline for the succession war is during the 8W's voyage. Determining the next successor during this time is an absolute requirement. If the deadline arrives and the succession war is not concluded with only one single prince remaining, the Hyugairu family will fall from the royal throne. Um, Agnation, no, scratch that. You mean a regiment change? If we lose the adaptability, extraordinary manipulation capabilities, and everything else that has been heightened to their absolute limits by none, that is inevitably the outcome. Isn't the risk higher if it's everyone dies if they don't meet the deadline? Why do you think of it as a collapse rather than total annihilation? At the moment, it is decided that only one person can survive a contract, risking one's life has been already established. Completely stripping away the options during the course of the festival is not a restriction, but coercion. For an end, it would end up having the opposite effect. Leaving an option for when the succession contest is not completed. In other words, the freedom that permits multiple princes to survive, by leaving hope for the participants in the weaker positions to risk of the rulers. Self-destructing is hidden behind the restriction of a time limit. Man, some Netero shit. Everyone is gonna get fucking bombed, clapped. Are you really? Are you really the one saying that? That's basically egging us on like we're screwed if we don't hurry up and kill the lower ranked princes. And one more thing, I shall make a major announcement. The 14th Prince does not possess the qualifications for the succession war. Whoa. Acidity motives and shockwave strikes. The 14th Prince is this baby, right? Like, are we gonna, what's Crab gonna do? He's gonna, like, sacrifice his kid? Sacrifice to Moloch and shit? Let's see, is there another one? There is another one. What happened, bro? Okay, so I've been busy like streaming, Discord, all of that. Like, how many chapters are out? Like, what? This is insane. I'm like, this is crazy. This is a real informed me. I don't be on Twitter that much. I think if I was Twitter last scrolling, but not even then. Like me just clicking on Twitter, one of the first things I should see is like a hundred announcement. No, no YouTube, no Twitter, nothing. Just Instagram reels of all things was to tell me that I'm kind of late to the party. That there's these chapters. Like what? Okay. Anyways, I'm happy. Though. I'm happy. We got our chapters. Like man, approximately 1.5 months remaining into the new continent. Um, 5 hours before the sounds of the special martial law, for the 14th Prince is not participating in the succession war. Um, I will give you a grade period. The classes will be rescheduled to start 10 hours from now. Take that back with you, and each of you come to your own conclusions, and only those who wish to participate in this class should return here. Hey, no matter how you look at it, the lie was way too sloppy. If the lower ranked princes managed to escape into the deadline, did they have a chance to survive? But the 14th prince wasn't participating in the succession war from the start. And now you're saying, well then, let's begin the 9 classes. Did you think if you confused us with by manipulating information, we'll just let a bullshit lie like that slide? There isn't a single lie, of course. The part about the restrictions is my own deduction, but I'm confident in it, and we hardly have to afford it. It's just proven, can we? Chance of special martial law approximately 48 hours ago. To think he would scheme to slip his own child among the princes. Searching for the person responsible is born, but here now, more than that. Must identify the cursed target of Beyond's biological child who's cast the curse and dispel the curse of the 14th prince. I swear to you I have no connection to Beyond whatsoever. If you must use your chain to prove my innocence, please rest assured. I don't suspect you at all, nor do I even feel the need to verify it. Shimano, please prepare our meals while you still have the chance, yes. This is very difficult to say, but my name is not Shimano, it's Shimanu. Oh, that's why I've been calling you Shimanu, right? It's no, no. I think it's probably impossible for a Kurapika to distinguish the pronunciation, the difference between the 3-vowel blends and the 2-vowel blends of the Cockney language. Oh, that's so. Do, do. The Cockney language has unique male sounds and female sounds. If you say Shimanu, it ends up sounding like a male name. But you manage to say it correctly every now and then, so don't worry about it. Even if you tell me not to worry about it after letting me know that. I apologize for making you uncomfortable. No, not at all. Kurapika. Actually, there's one thing that's been bothering me for a while. Hey, don't tell me. What do you say to him? Queen. Yes, what is it? Regarding the matter from beyond from earlier, it is indeed, as the Queen said, it would be best to completely resolve the problem here. May I demonstrate my chain so that there's absolutely no room for doubt left? Of course, that will put my mind to ease too, so please do. Thank you very much. First, I will ask some meaningless questions to establish baseline. Please answer with either yes or no. Is that right? Yes. You are a man. No. You are 2 years old. No. You are a woman. Yes. You are a mother. Yes. Now then, Please answer yes to all these questions asked to you. Yes. You are currently flying in the sky. Yes. You are currently on you are currently on a ship. Yes. You are currently in a tank. Yes. Your only child is a 14 prince. Yes. The prince sleeping over there right now 2 months ago. Yes. Huh. Held them at a hotel where the interview took place. He didn't finish. 2 months ago. Yes. The prince sleeping over there. I held them in a hotel. What is going on? Wobu is my child. Queen, to my question, will you answer? Yes. Why? You know that it was Shimunu bill regarding the Queen's pronunciation. Notice the difference between the male and female sounds. The female pronunciation of Bu, which we're doing some world building language up in here. Like what in the world? Which mixes a slight frictive sound, and the male pronunciation, which is made without bringing the upper and lower jaws together, are relatively distinct. At first, the queen used the neutral boo sound, but at some point she began altering between the two. That made me think, huh, which is how I first noticed. Of course, I barely paid it any mind. This is truly a trivial difference, and there are plenty of native speakers who can't even differentiate them. The queen began using those two pronunciations shortly after we set sail. I recall, wasn't it right around the time Kurapika first used his chain ability, but earlier when the topic of Shimano came up? To prepare for the unlikely event that you were questioned by my chain so that you could speak the truth without making the chain swing. You used them to selectively differentiate between a lie and a boy, didn't you? For the moment, you had to say he is my child. Whose child is he? And where is your daughter right now? This child is my younger sister's son. My daughter is currently entrusted to that sister's care. I truly do not know where they are. During the seed-urn ceremony, the one who placed her hand into the urn was my daughter. Afterwards, we swapped the children at the hotel so the one who attended the ceremony was my sister's son. Therefore, neither this child nor my daughter possesses the qualifications to participate in the succession war. Initially, I believed non-participating was impossible. I thought non-participation would make us targets for elimination. So we would appear to be participating on the surface, and if push came to shove, I would confess that we lacked the qualifications and beg for forgiveness. I felt that in order to survive, I had no choice to bet on this. That is what I thought. It is, it is just as you heard. There is no lie in the Queen's words. We are outsiders. Naya. Beep 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 beep. The only ones who withdrew are the second Queen's soldiers who are not taking the class. Has the operation failed? If only either the private soldiers of the first Prince Benjamin or the third Prince Choria had withdrawn, I thought the announcement that the 14th Prince Wobu is disqualified from the succession war would gain more credibility, and the danger of her being targeted would be dropped significantly, but it's not that simple. However, for now, I will just proceed with the development of Nen abilities as originally planned. The first Prince's private troops and third Prince's private tropes have confirmed that Prince Wobu is a boy, and the fact that our story is true has been conveyed to them. Just being removed as a target for the first prince means the current danger has been significantly reduced. The reason they are fussing over succession rights, despite knowing the prince is a different person, is simply because they think, well done. Perhaps a dragon leaped into her room, and she might actually possess the right of the succession. Even if the first prince aside tells the other princes, they won't believe it if there's no change in the current situation. However, as long as the third and fifth princes feel I have utility value to them, our friendly relations should continue. I'm also holding on to the 10th Prince's letter. I will continue to demonstrate the power of ನನ್ನ abilities just like this and keep proving that I possess even more effective and crucial information. Simultaneously, I must identify the targets of Beyond's children. As for the son of the one currently on the throne, the fact that he is not the real prince can be exposed through physical characteristics. Almost an official investigate body gets involved due to an assassination or poisoning, the risk of him being directly dragged into the succession war and having his life threatened is likely low right now. The problem is the daughter who isn't here. The curse beyond supposedly placed on his disciples. If it's a powerful one that activates a post-mortem then and curses them to death, it will be instantaneous from an activation to death. And especially the defenseless baby who has no way to resist. The only way is to identify the curse herb beforehand and eliminate them. The true identities of the remaining cursors I heard about from the 5th Prince's private troops. They haven't been told anything about who the curse is directed at or what the conditions are as expected. Is asking the source beyond himself the shortest path. Yo, I've been waiting for you. Whoa. Oh wait, this is okay, so that's clearly Kurapika, right? Like who else would that be coming in? Now we're shifting the focus. Is it? I thought this was Finks for a second. Found Troop. Um, the hat, like the drip he has. Is that their hair? Looks like a hat. I like to speak with you in private, so could you step outside? Wow, okay, that's not private then. I'm tripping. Anyways, that is an unreasonable request. One job is surveillance and nitpicking, whether it's a contract between a Supreme Court judge or an international political criminal. Both are VIPs, so we can't let them go without through expectation. You can just listen from there. It's no problem at all. I've got plenty of criticisms to deal with. I'm just confirming the results. Well, the merit is that I am tailing everything. First, the trial where the V5 side was suing you has been successfully remained via plea of bargain. There will be no retrial. Consequently, the multiple crimes you committed during the New World Voyage Declaration broadcast will not be pursued under international criminal law. Well, everything we just transferred to the secret agreement with Kakian, well, that was expected. The issue is the outcome of the ones I'm suing for. I recall there were about cases, right? Is 1,047 cases. To give you the conclusion, as a result of consolidated deliberation at the Supreme Court, they were all dismissed. That is a lot of words, bro. That is a lot of words, bro. Alright. Are you serious? Not even one before this. Did you really look at them properly, man? Yes, you must be mistaking this for a sloppy rush job, right? I personally looked through and thoroughly scrutinized all of them to make my judgments. How rude. How many months do you think I spent on this? In short, the Kakin Kingdom has absolutely no intention of improving or guaranteeing even the bare minimum of human rights for its ordinary citizens, right? The respect for fundamental human rights is clearly stated in our Constitution, though. We're suing precisely because it's not being put into practice, you idiot. First of all, did you even clearly define the foundational premise of what constitutes a human versus a citizen in writing? Unless you add a sentence stating that the royalty and the populace together shall compromise the citizens, there is absolutely no way you ever win the trust of the ordinary people, right? That had already been adopted prior to the lawsuit. King Nasubi was already moving toward realizing equality in the wording of the Constitution, specifically equality under the enforcement of law for both royalty and citizens, regardless of the outcome of the succession war. Over there are the copies of the judicial review records regarding constitutionally for this case, along with the related constitutional amendments and revisions. Even if it is impossible to immediately judge all so-called royal crimes, once the revision goes into effect, we can expect a certain degree of deterring effect. Though I am personally more concerned about the far greater downside, losing the psychological difference that vanishes once royalty is classified as citizens. Hey, 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 we have to check the
the contents of all this farce. There's no way you can actually scrutinize legal documents just to check to make sure there are no foreign objects mixed into the papers. An absolute king's single word is way faster and more effective than a constitution, huh? Let's see here. I'm well aware of how difficult it is to cherry pick the best of both dictatorship and democracy. Alright, give me the next one. Too fast, you're totally lying. We're just skimming through it anyway. Why aren't you taking any requests? I don't mind. I'm just a way to kill time until this embark anyway. As long as it's printed text, same thing's fine. To kill time? Ha! I'll have you executed, you shitty old man. Even though I went out of my way to come here during my busy schedule, squeezing this in between the postponement of the ninth prince's trial. Did you all hear that? I've known him since he has been wetting his pants, and this is the true character's team members to the Zodiacs, like I care. Death is death penalty is fine by me. Okay. So we're caught up. Um so we're caught up. Wow. Yeah, okay, so chapters are coming out weekly. I'm pretty hyped of that. Yo, I was man, I was wondering like what I wonder what Hunter chapter like has like the most like words, you know? Cause because man, it's like I was thinking like what if Togashi like doesn't what if he doesn't care at this point? Cuz like there is a massive difference. There's literally a massive difference between the arc before this like Dark Continent shit and the arc this Dark Continent saga, I should say. And that was like the election arc. The last arc the anime 2011 anime adaptation ended up at. That and this Dark Continent saga, there's a fucking massive difference of like this like word dump. It's like word salad shit. There's a massive difference. It's like he doesn't like want to he doesn't like want to draw. That's like another thing. He probably doesn't want to draw, and he just wants to like write. He would prefer to just like write a whole novel at this point, you know? He like lost the spark of like drawing out uh like a visionary storytelling. Like he I think he lost that spark. He probably like poured it all in Chimera Ant arc, you know? Um but yeah, this is and I was also thinking like what if he's like on purpose trying to like get this manga canceled, you know? On purpose trying to sabotage the whole series. If you guys don't know, Golden Boy, you know, the OVA, the anime, it's pretty like funny and it's like comedy, it's like ecchi. There's like a manga and it's kind of it's like what that was like self-sabotage. They made it like weird and made it in a simulation and made like everything like just wasn't logical and it's all in a simulation and the mangaka, the author, was just pouring his political views like into. There's literally like a scene where like in the simulation, the main character and his crush, whatever, like they're fucking, and during like the sex, like the fucking one for some reason is spewing him all this like political lecture, and it's just the mangaka's own like the mangaka's own yeah his own takes thoughts. But yeah, anyways, Togashi yeah, honestly, I feel pretty like black pilled with Togashi's work in here because, like, you know, as someone who's read, you know, like what happens after the anime of Hunter x Hunter, I mean, as a huge fan of Hunter x Hunter, and me being asked like what happens after, like, is it any good? I'm like, yeah, he's got Kurlo. But then, like, recently I went back to see he's got Kurlo, and it's still the same bullshit that this like saga has. It's this like yak fest. Like, what in the world? Like, what happened?
Is that so? That's what. Comment down below. Comment back below what you think. Is it just Togashi's taste, style, preference at this point, or is he literally trying to like sabotage and seeing what he can get away with? You know. I don't know. You know. This yeah. Again, like who's catching up? Who's catching up? Who's up to date with this like arc and those like all the stuff going on? You know. Yeah. It's just yeah. But yeah, more Hunter x Hunter chapters coming out. I'm gonna check them out. I guess that's all. I'm up to date. See you guys later.